Cut that out. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Peter Lindhays, and boy, do I have a secret.
I've Got a Secret, brought to you tonight by the new Polaroid 10-second automatic camera. Only 3 buttons to push. 1, 2, 3, and in just 10 seconds, a finished picture. Now, here is I've Got a Secret, starring Gary Moore.
Thank you ever so much. Good evening. Welcome to yet another edition of I've Got a Secret. Without further ado, let's get down to business and meet the members of our sterling panel. First, there is Bill Cullen and Betsy Palmer and Henry Morgan and Bess Myers, and that's our group. Panel, you all ready to play the game?
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy.
Now, then, may we welcome, then, our first contestant. Will you come in, please, sir? Will you tell our panel and our audience what your name is, sir, and where you're from?
Cortez Peters, Washington, D.C.
This is Cortez Peters. He is from Washington, D.C. And now, Mr. Peters, if you'll whisper your secret to me, we'll show it at the same time to the audience at home. And here we go. Well, panel, to help you classify this particular problem, Mr. Peters' secret concerns a title he holds, and we'll start with Betsy, please.
Mr. Peters, are you the only holder of this title in the whole wide world?
In the particular field, yes.
And is this a field of science, say?
It is not.
Is it something more cerebral, though, than it is physical?
Well, it's a combination of physical and mental.
It is more mental.
Yes, it calls for both physical and mental dexterity.
Do you...
All right, we've lost $20. We have $60 to go. We go, please, to Henry.
Mr. Peters, did you win your title in a contest?
Yes.
Was it restricted to men?
No.
Did you write anything?
Yes.
Did it have to do with how fast you wrote?
Yes.
$40 down, $40 to go, and just before Henry got it, we go to Bess.
Well, is there more to it than just how fast you wrote, sir?
Yes.
But that's part of it.
Yes.
Does it have to do with the subject matter?
Subject matter is involved, yes.
Yes.
Subject matter of what he wrote, to some extent.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the speed that we emphasize.
It's the speed. Now, shall we guess how many words per minute you wrote? Is that the idea?
No.
No? Was it manual?
It was physical.
What did I mean when I said that?
You meant that
I mean, yes.
It's a manual. Did you use your hands?
Yes, that's right.
Yes, the answer is
I
yes.
had to use mine.
$60 down, $20 to go, and we go, please, to Bill Cullen.
Well, I don't know how we got it up to here,
I don't know.
but now that they got it up to here, is it
What do you do
typing?
with
Yes.
Are you the world's fastest typist?
That's exactly what he is. Bess, I'm afraid I cheated you a little because I know that when you said manual, you meant longhand. But manual is manual. It means the hands, and typing
You're
is manual.
right. And Henry just called me a dumbbell, so I'm
Yes, sir, the world's fastest typist. The remarkable thing about Mr. Peters' record is as he has typed 141 words a minute on a standard manual typewriter. That's not an electric typewriter. Now, when you're typing at that incredible speed, sir, what is your degree of accuracy?
Better than 99%.
Better than 99%. Now, if we open the curtains, please, we'll see a little demonstration. Now, here is his machine over here. It is a standard manual typewriter. Forget this one. It's going to be used a little later, but for the moment, forget about it. Do you want to, he was doing a delightful thing this afternoon, and Norman Paris fell in with him. Do you want to try that for us, sir? It's not level? There, now. I think it's level now, huh?
It's better. Anyway.
All right. fine, Mr. Peters. That, of course, is a trick and a stunt. But now I really want to show you how magnificent this man's talent is. Here I have a machine called a rollotyper. It's the world's fastest automatic typewriter. Now, it has been programmed to type the same copy that Mr. Peters has in his exercise book from a punch roll, which is in this assembly back here. Now, it types accurately and with the greatest speed that a machine can produce. Are you ready to challenge this machine, sir? All right, we'll take the same piece of copy. When I say start, you start. 1, 2, 3, go. And he's finished. The machine just... Panel, just so that you will know that this is absolutely on the up. One apology I want to make. Somebody had been fooling with the machine, and it was over here instead of here from the beginning, and that's why I had to touch it. I had to bring it back to the beginning. But just compare these copies, you'll see that he is quite as accurate as the machine is. It's an amazing talent, sir, and I know you've trained hard for it. Thank you ever so much. Thank you very much. Now then, tell me, did you take advantage of the family gathering at Thanksgiving to get some snapshots? Because if you didn't, maybe it's because you don't own a Polaroid land camera like this new 10-second automatic. Folks who do don't miss those shots. Now, you watch how easy this is. Bess, if you'll smile, you'll notice that all I do is aim and push 3 buttons. 1, 2, and 3. Thanks, Bess. And that's it. There are no dials to fool with because the electric eye, which is right here, makes those right settings for you from dawn until dusk. It even tells you if you need more light. So then you can use this little built-in flash gun. And in 10 seconds, you've got your picture. Never misses. Look at that. See how sharp and clear? And that's without even focusing. Now, if you didn't get those family snaps at Thanksgiving, why not catch up at Christmas? Get a Polaroid 10-second automatic camera. There are 2 models, one for less than $95, the other less than $75. May I now ask that our next contestant come in, please? This is the kind of spot I love because it just fascinates me. And Henry and Bill, I know that, well, one ramification of it anyhow. Will you tell us what your name is, sir, please?
Bernard George.
And you're from?
Brooklyn, New York.
Bernard George from Brooklyn. Now, he is the chief engineer of the Minotone Electronics Corporation. But before we go any further, and as a sideline, I would like you to show him something that he showed me that he was carrying around in his pocket. This is an amazing thing. Can you guess what that is? A radio.
Huh.
Now, can you turn it on? I know there's a lot of interference in here, but...
Static.
Just got the short wave. There was a certain amount of static because of all of the electronic, as you fellows know, with all the cameras and everything around, makes for interference. However, forget that. Let's get down to business. Sir, if you'll whisper your secret to me, we'll show it to our audience at the same time. Tell me more. Huh? Panel, the clue to Mr. George's secret concerns something about his work, and Bess Meyerson will start with you, please.
Something about your work, sir. Does that mean something about your business, then?
Yes.
This electronic company. Does it perhaps have to do with your involvement with the government's rocket and missile program?
No.
No. Are you involved with the government in production at all?
No.
No. Should we be concerned with the product that you manufacture?
Well, we just know generally that he's in electronics, which is enough for you to know, I think.
Yes. Is it one specific product that you manufacture that we would be interested in?
Nope.
No?
$20 down, $60 to go. We go, please, to Bill Cullen.
Is this Mr. George's secret, like I'm not happy in my work?
He's a happy man.
Does it have to do, Mr. George, with something you produce?
In a manner of speaking, yes. We have to say that.
Is this an unusual thing you produce?
Yes.
Something that hardly anyone else produces?
I would say that a great many people produce this same thing, but not in the manner in which he does it. $40 down, $40 to go. We go, please, now to Betsy.
Mr. George, does it have anything to do with the little radio that you had tonight, that you brought with you?
This?
Yes.
Yes, there's involvement with that.
Is it something to do with electronics and that little radio? I mean, it's going to happen here on stage tonight?
Those about 3 questions. Which one do you want to ask?
All 3 of them. Because they keep buzzing me all the time.
It concerns something that's going
Oh, do you what I mean?
concerns something that's going to happen here tonight. It does not concern electronics, and we go to Henry Morgan, please.
You're going to demonstrate something,
That's right. Yes.
and it has to do with some miniature electronic device.
No, not really. No.
Well, it is an electronic device.
You know what? They borrowed my watch.
I don't think they're speaking to each other.
No, I have never claimed it was an electronic device. Now, before I tell you Mr. George's secret, there is something I would like to show you. Betsy, you remember before the show tonight, someone came in and we asked you to loan us your wristwatch?
Yes.
All right, if you'll join us center stage, I'd like you to take a look at your watch.
Be careful.
It's in Mr. George's pocket. I would like you to identify and...
Mine.
Well, I got news for you. The works have been taken out of it.
Oh, that's the only one I got.
Well, don't worry, because Mr. George put in there a radio even smaller than the one he had there. Now, can we bring the mic in real close? Because naturally it's not going to be terribly loud.
Does it have something to do with a miniature electronic device? No.
Stick with us.
What do you do?
I like it better than the watch.
You still don't know what his secret is?
Yeah, I do now.
What is it, Bill?
He is a sneaky ventriloquist.
Here's your watch with the works back. And Henry, his secret was that he was a ventriloquist.
We changed the voting.
Yeah,
We're
he's
both
a
stupid.
dumbass.
And, of course, also the company of which we announced him as being the head is non-existent. But isn't it a marvelous gimmick? No, he does. He sits on the subway with this little thing and make noises like you do during the World Series. And people all over the subway come up and say, "What's the score? What's the score?" Thanks an awful lot. You're a very talented young man. We will meet our special guest in just a moment, but first let's watch this.
Now, all day or all night relief from head cold congestion with continuous action medication. New Contact Continuous Action Capsules. Contact's unique formula gives all day or all night relief, decongests nasal passages, dries runny nose, relieves sneezing. With ordinary remedies, unless you take pill after pill, your symptoms return every few hours. But New Contact gives all day or all night relief. Each capsule contains over 600 tiny time pills. Some go to work right away for fast relief. The rest dissolve slowly in your digestive system. They release medication drop by drop into your bloodstream for up to 12 hours relief, up to 8 hours longer than one dose of any leading cold pill. Take one Contact capsule for all day or all night relief. Next time you have a cold, get Contact.
Now, panel, the audience here noticed that I had Betsy and Henry swap seats during that little filmed message. I'll explain why to you in just a few moments. But right now, it's time for us to meet our special guest for tonight, actor, comedian, author of a delightful book entitled 25 Minutes from Broadway. Here is Peter Lind Hayes. Whoa! Huh? Hi, Pete. How are you? Now, Peter, this is a surprise. This is not your wife, Mary Healy. What are you doing out with this lady, and would you explain to us who she is as if I didn't know?
Gary, this is all part of my secret since I'm happily married to Miss New Orleans of 1911. This lovely lady is Mrs. Lila Mason, who last Thursday in lovely Fort Lauderdale became the new lovely Mrs. America. Mrs. America.
Well, of course, I'm delighted that you brought Mrs. America, Mrs. Mason, along, but why?
A very simple reason. I think that we should have, with our panel, a Mrs. America contest right here on your stage.
Well, how can we do that? We got 2 men on the panel, and not only that, but the Mrs. America contest is a test, among other things, of homemaking ability.
That's exactly the reason for me improvising this little contest. I think with so many women working today, that most of the men stay home and that they are qualified to run in the Mrs. America contest.
All right, now, panel, I'll tell you, we're going to give you some of the same tests that were given to the Mrs. America contestants. We'll see who does best, the men or the women. In other words, it's teams, the 2 boys against the 2 girls. Now, to start with, Peter will ask you some general knowledge, homemaking questions, and we're keeping score. Now, Peter, who's the first question for?
Well, it's usually ladies first, but in this case, it's men first. I'm going to start with the males. I only need these to read with. I don't know about Bill Cullen. We'll start with Bill. Are you ready, Bill?
Yes, Peter.
How do you polish the base of an electric iron that has been scratched so that the surface is smooth again?
Vigorously?
No, that's not right.
I like that.
Henry, do you have a practical solution to this problem?
Yes. You use, all the stuff I read, it says you use lemon juice for everything. You put...
All right, now let's turn to the expert here. What does one do when you have a scratchy iron?
You heat the iron on low and then slide it over wax paper.
And that does the job for you. So no score for the gentleman. All right, let's tackle the ladies.
All right, ladies, are you ready?
No.
Now, come on, Betsy and Bess, you should be able to answer this. How many teaspoons are there in a tablespoon?
2.
3.
1.5.
4?
All right, let's confine it to the ladies
2
now.
teaspoons are in a tablespoon.
You say that flatly and emphatically.
Oh, let's think it over.
Now, what do you say, Bess?
I mean, that's what I always measure with.
Well, in my tablespoon, there are 3.
There are 3, so is that right?
Yes, that is
There are
right.
3, so Bess gets one point.
1.5.
I know.
Bess gets a point.
Really? Henry really said 3.
Back to the males.
We get 1.5 points.
Henry, I've been wrong all these years.
I didn't want to tell you about your cooking, dear, but now I know what's wrong with it.
It comes out. No,
It comes out all right.
All right, let's get back to the gentlemen. We have much to accomplish.
You ready, fellas? You ready, fellas?
Right.
When you spill wine on a tablecloth, what is the first thing you should do?
Apologize to the hostess.
You put talcum powder on it.
You what?
Or lemon juice.
Well, let's go to Mrs. America for the proper answer.
Well, I would sprinkle salt on the stain and then place that over a cup and pour boiling water. That'll remove your stain.
Talcum powder is very good, too.
It's a barrel of laughs during a party to do that.
Hot water?
All right, so the boys got no points either, and so now we'll go back to the girls again.
Here you go, ladies. If you have put too much salt in soup while you're cooking it, how can you correct it?
Put in a potato.
That's absolutely right. You put in a potato and it absorbs the salt. So 1 for Betsy, 1 for Bess. All right, now enough of that. If you'll take the fishbowl center, I'm going to ask Bill Cullen to join you center Peter Lind Hayes. And Pete will explain about this, which is also like they do in the Mrs. America contest.
Anyone for bowling? This is very simple, Bill. I'm going to ask you to pick out a question, and you're to improvise for 30 seconds the way Mrs. America had to in answer to the question. Now, just reach in there. Look out for the fish. It's a shark.
I make a 30-second...
I'll read it for you. Yes. I brought the glasses along. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
If you gave a party and one of the guests stayed too late, how would you handle the situation?
Male or female or just one of the guests? Well, I would first of all determine the guest's sex.
Right.
How would you do that?
By asking around. I believe in the direct approach. I ask various people, and if it's a very attractive, shapely, comely lass, I would get her out so fast because my wife is, you know...
And now we come to Jack Parr's friend, Henry Morgan. I'll read it for you.
Fine local jokes. Thanks, Grandpa.
Remember, you have 30 seconds to go in case you have to. If your husband, Mrs. Morgan, came home in a bad mood after a hard day at the office, how should a good wife cheer him up?
A good wife should always be cheerful and gay and never criticize. If the husband comes home disgruntled, the best thing to do is to hand him 4 or 5 vodka Gibsons. Not making the fatal mistake of putting in an olive, she should put in onions. Then she should say, "Dear, I've never noticed that you are looking younger every day, smarter and wealthier. And just this afternoon, one of the kids tried to commit suicide because somebody thought somebody else was his father. He was terribly pleased to discover that you were it." Then the wife says, "I have a big surprise for you."
I think that explains why Henry isn't married, don't you, Betsy?
He'd be a lovely little housebreaker. You reach in there, and I'll read it for you.
All right, Peter Lynn.
It's a lovely dress. You look like you're expecting the mumps.
Yes.
This one is correct in one respect. I know. Kilroy was here. All right.
No, it wasn't Kilroy.
Dr. Kilroy?
Dr. Kilroy.
Sam Kilroy? If your husband, Betsy, brought his boss home for dinner, unexpectedly, naturally, how would you handle the situation?
Well, I always figure that there's enough in the pot for one more person, and so...
That was a short...
Yes.
Oh, it's so funny.
Well, never mind. Let's get Bess up. That was one of the funniest unintentional jokes I ever heard in my life.
There'll be a brief pause for station identification.
Bess, this is the last one, so naturally I chose it for you. When you finally become a mother-in-law, what rules will you follow to be a good mother-in-law?
To be a good mother-in-law? Well, of course, I would, I was just thinking take a long vacation right after the first baby is born. No, I think I would offer my services, you know. I would babysit, and I would come over and take care of the house while they went off on a long vacation. And anything I say is going to be anticlimactic after that pot.
All right. Now, panel, so far we have tested you in theory. Now let's see how well you do in practice. Mrs. Masson tells me that the most popular event in the contest is the cake decorating event. So if we can open the curtain, we have a table set up with 4 undecorated cakes. And panel, if after it's slid down, go in the back, go behind the cake that's got your name on it, and Mrs. Masson will be up judging you on points, and you've got little squeeze bags of decorating stuff. Bess, you're over here on this end, dear. That's right. And Mrs. Mason, you want to go up there and observe? On your, well, yes, you better put on your aprons, girls.
And keep over on your side, Henry.
You ready? On your marks, get set, go.
There isn't much to tell at this moment, but I wouldn't even let Henry Morgan shave me. Bess is doing very well.
Yes, is he really?
And Betsy, I think we've discovered a new Picasso here, Gary. Bill Cullen, you're sick, sick, sick. Remember, right after the show, you're going to have to clean that up. I think the girls are really the champs here so far.
Hey, look at the fish. Look at the fish. All right, hold it.
Wait, Henry just made a shrewd move. He wrote out Polaroid.
All right, now let me tell you, so far, based on the essay, the question and answer period, the score is as follows. The men are ahead 14-12. Individual scores, Henry 7, Bill 7, Betsy 6, and Bess 6. Now, which one would you say gets the most points for the cake?
Betsy.
Well, I think Betsy is quite pretty.
You're going to give it to Betsy, huh?
Very, very pretty.
All right, well, that's going to have to be it. Betsy, you are our new Mrs. America. Mrs. Mason, thank you so much for being with us. It's been a joy seeing you in person. Peter Lind Hayes, you have been a boon and a help. Give our very best love to Miss Mary.
Mary who?
Thank you, got your last name. Thanks an awful lot. And so until next week, friends, be very kind to each other, will you? And goodbye out there.
Now, here's a message from next week's sponsor, General Foods.
This is a dessert topping. The dessert topping in a box. Dream Whip. For real homemade taste and texture. All you do is whip it up with milk and vanilla. But what Dream Whip does for desserts is a real surprise. On Jell-O puddings, pumpkin pie, gingerbread, strawberry shortcake. Light, fluffy Dream Whip makes everything it touches taste better, more exciting. Yet it's so lusciously low in calories, only 17 per tablespoon serving. And Dream Whip stays fresh so long. You can make it hours before dinner. It won't wilt or separate like other toppings. In fact, extra Dream Whip will stay fresh for days in your refrigerator. Keep several boxes handy on your pantry shelf. Always fresh, ready, and waiting. That's Dream Whip, another fine product of General Foods.
Miss Palmer's Gown by Anthony Antine.
Mary Tyler Moore, Maury Amsterdam, and Rose Marie are just three people who never miss the Dick Van Dyke Show.
How can we, Dick? We're in it.
Tomorrow on most of these stations.
I've Got a Secret has been brought to you tonight by the new Polaroid 10-second automatic camera. Only 3 buttons to push. 1, 2, 3, and in just 10 seconds, a finished picture. The preceding program was pre-recorded. This is John Cannon speaking.